is Brooke. I currently live in Alabama. I have epilepsy. I was first diagnosed with it probably about 8 years ago. We first found out I had it. I was actually downtown at a very fancy restaurant. I remember sitting down. I remember feeling a little nauseous. I thought it would, pass. And then the next thing I remember is waking up on the back of a stretcher, being wheeled into an ambulance outside, panicking, not knowing what had happened. I had no idea. I was freaking out. I remember my sister being there, and she had told me what had happened. Apparently, I had just slumped down on the table. She tried to shake me, and then I guess I started convulsing and went into a full-blown seizure. I didn't know what a seizure was. I had no idea what that was. I kind of knew what epilepsy was, but I didn't know much about it. They took me to the hospital. My mom met me there, my dad, and they told my mom to take me to a neurologist. I had no idea what a neurologist was. We went to one. They started to put me on a anti-seizure medicine. I had to get an MRI done. That was my first MRI. It was very scary. I did not like it. I had to check my brain. The left side of my brain was shown for high activity, for more. So was on it, on the seizure medicine for a while. Didn't have really any more episodes. Had stayed on it. And then the year before last, I woke up. It was a Sunday morning. I went to go talk to my dad and my mom in the kitchen. My dad was at his desk, which is right outside near my bathroom. My mom was in the kitchen. I told them, hey, I'm gonna go take a shower. My normal Sunday routine. Went and turned the water on, stepped in, normal. All I remember, I remember waking up in our living room in our chair, with my mom and my dad over me, half dressed. There was a firefighter lady over me, and I didn't know what had happened. I remember my nose was bleeding, like there was a cut on my nose. Apparently my dad had heard a thud in the shower, and he told my mom to go check on me. She knocked on the door, didn't hear anything. She opened the door, yelled my name, didn't hear anything. She opened the curtain, and I was in the tub convulsing. She freaked out and she went to call 911. My dad couldn't get me out. My body was so stiff. He was, in a panic. All he could do was just start praying for me, until apparently my body just has to stop convulsing before you can really move someone. Apparently somehow they got me into the living room. I don't remember it. I was out for about 25 minutes. Apparently I hit my head or my nose on the spout. I don't remember it. I don't remember the pain. They took me to the hospital. Went to the ER. Had to follow up with my neurologist. Put me on more medicine. Was fine. Had no more. I had a couple mini seizures. Basically they're called like silent seizures where you're kind of out of it for a couple seconds. You don't quite black out, but you are kind of out of it for a couple seconds. Those are very scary. I had about 4 or 5 of those. I remember I was at work talking to a coworker. I had one, he was trying to get my attention. I couldn't get out of it. I remember at my old job, I was on the phone twice with a customer. I had 2 of them, and it was very scary. I couldn't talk. I just remember hearing the customer, and I could not get words out. I was so scared. I remember a coworker of mine being to the side of me and me wanting to do something, but I could not tell him. I couldn't do anything until it passed. It was very, very scary. Switched my medicine, upped it, did all they could, and then last month I had another one. I was at my boyfriend's house. I had felt fine. I had went up to get a drink. I had sat down. We were playing a game. I remember feeling nauseous, kind of that feeling again. I thought it would pass. Didn't think anything of it, and apparently I had a staring spell. I don't remember any of it, and then I blacked out. I remember waking up and my boyfriend and his brother being over me, and I'm not knowing what was going on. It's so scary. I just remember my body is so tired after them. I feel horrible the day afterwards. It's horrible. I can't drive. Normally when you have a seizure, you can't drive for 6 months. If you have a seizure again before your 6 months is over, it's a year. In total, I've not driven for a year, probably in 6 months. Currently, I can't drive until May, but that may be longer. It's very hard being 27 years old and not being able to drive. It's very difficult being dependent on other people. I want to drive really bad, but I know that it's better for me to push my pride away and say I'm okay to not drive and to keep people safe. I'm currently on 3 seizure pills. I take twice a day, so I'm on 6 a day. I'm currently, my doctor's changing them. We're waiting to change to different medicines. He's changed me on a couple. I can't remember how many. Some have worked good, some have worked not so good. It's very difficult. Epilepsy is not fun, but I'm proud to raise awareness for it. It's something, again, that the Lord's given me. I don't like it. It's very difficult. It's hard. It's hard on my parents, but we get through it, and it's very scary, but I currently can't live alone. I can't stay alone. Normally I can't take baths alone. I can take them alone, but someone has to be at the house if I take them. My dad has a lot of PTSD, so if I take a shower or a bath, him or my mom have to yell my name after a certain amount of time to check and make sure I'm okay. So it's definitely, there's a lot of precautions that are taken now if I'm home alone. But it's very scary, but in a way I've gotten used to it. I'm living with it, and just something that I deal with on a regular basis, and I've kind of gotten used to it, and I do what I have to do. Yeah. Being in my almost 30s, being 27 and having so many chronic illnesses, it's definitely affected a lot of areas in my life. It's definitely affected my relationship life. It's made me fearful of my dating life. It's made me scared to date because I'm always scared to tell someone I have these illnesses. If we get married, married, you may have to drive me these places. I'm on a lot of medicines. You are going to have to be able to watch out for these things. And thankfully, I have someone who understands and who is willing to take on that. And for someone who's scared to tell their significant other, if they're the right one for you and understanding, they will understand and they will say that's fine. I love you for, whatever illness you have. It's definitely been the hardest for me on my family. Every day I battle with telling myself you're a burden. You're a burden to your mom and dad. You're, 27 years old and, your mom has to drive you to work every day. Your mom has to take you to work at 2 o'clock and has to come pick you up at midnight. My dad has to take me places. My friends have to drive me places. My family, I can't live alone. I still have to live with my family, my parents. I battle with constantly feeling like a burden to them. Even though my parents constantly reassure me I'm not. Who at 27 wants to still live with their parents? Who at 27 still wants to have their dad check up on them when they're taking a bath? Who at 27 wants to have their friends have to come pick them up and drive them everywhere and to feel like a burden to their friends? I struggle with asking my friends, hey, can you come pick me up? Hey, can you, take me here? I do my best to, sometimes pay for, them, sometimes, for your friends, if you ask them to take you someplace and say you want to, show your appreciation, I sometimes will buy their coffee, buy them lunch, show your appreciation in that way. I've learned sometimes to help combat those thoughts of feeling like a burden, be a blessing to the people who are driving you. With my mom, I will pay for the gas because I know it puts a lot of toll on her car. So we take my car that I'm currently not driving, but we put the miles on my car, and I fill the gas up. So I feel like to help combat those feelings of I'm a burden, I'm just a burden and a pain to the people, I can help them and show my appreciation to them. Who at 27 though, I hate taking medicine. I hate it. I have been taking pills since I was 5 years old. Every day I take probably about 6 or 7 pills, including my back pills. Who wants to take, 4 different kinds of seizure medicines? I don't. I hate taking medicine. I tell my mom one day, I tell her all the time, Mom, do you think there's ever going to come a day where I don't have to take medicine? In all seriousness. And she says, no. In heaven, I know that as a believer, I can look forward to the day of, in heaven, I can be the day where I don't have to take medicine anymore. And that's hard to accept that for now, I have to take medicine every day. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to know the pharmacist. I have such a good relationship with my pharmacist because I have to go see him so often. 27-year-old likes to, pull out a Ziploc bag full of their pills. It's not fun. It is just a burden. It's a task. I have to remind myself there are moments where I'm like, just, you don't have to take your pills tonight. You can just take them tomorrow. I did that, and then the next day I had another seizure, so don't do that. If you're on medicine, don't do it. It's not worth it. Take it. Just do it. If you have to take it with you and take it in the car, just take it with you and take it in the car. But it is definitely hard. There's things that I battle with every single day. It is a struggle. I miss driving so much. I miss having my independence of getting in the car and going to work. I miss driving to work. I miss, you know, it's hard when people say, oh yeah, that's right, you can't drive. That hits a spot. It hits a spot. That is hard. It's hard when I look and I'm driving in the passenger seat with my mom and I look to my right and I see someone my age driving. And I say, I wish I was them. I miss, there are moments where I will go sit in my car in our driveway, just sit there and just turn it on and just imagine myself driving. It may sound silly, but if you're in my situation, go do it. It helps. Even if you don't go anywhere, just turn your car on. Don't go anywhere. Don't drive. I recommend don't doing that. But it helps. It's definitely helped me. But there's definitely a lot of things I struggle with, but I have found ways to cope with it and find the good in it. I know that I'd much rather have people drive me than me risk driving and having a seizure and hurting someone. I've learned to put that away, my wants, for the safety of others on the road. There are things you have to learn to accept, and that's what I have learned. I've learned that one day I will not have these pains. One day I know one day I won't have epilepsy. I know one day I won't have depression, anxiety, and maybe a long time from now, maybe not so long. But I've learned to find the good in the bad.